Today comments appeared on my channel with "it's a no deal, it's fixed now" and so on, and I want to talk about this right now. The EU and Great Britain still have a few weeks to agree on an agreement on future relations. Boris Johnson is once again threatening a hard Brexit. Negotiations between the EU and Great Britain about how their relations should look in the future have been stalling for weeks now. We all know that. UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson is now preparing his country economy for hard Brexit. If the EU does not fundamentally change its approach in the negotiations, there will be a Brexit without a trade agreement, said Johnson just recently today. An agreement with Brussels is unlikely, said Johnson. The EU does not negotiate seriously, he says. His country will therefore have to adjust to a new situation from January 2021. But when he was asked several times during his interview with Euronews whether the UK was getting up from the table and walk away, he did not give a clear yes answer. He always talked himself out of it again. He also emphasized that one should at least talk to the EU about practical solutions for air traffic, social issues, and so on and so on. So even in the worst case, he wasn't talking about a no deal, he was talking about mini deals that he wants if nothing else changes. And the whole thing once again looked as if he tried to put pressure on the EU summit that is still happening right now. And today was no day where they wanted to talk about Brexit, but I guess it was his intention definitely to make them talk about Brexit again. At the end of the year, the transition period during which the UK still applies EU rules expires. The future relationship is currently being negotiated and it is negotiated still, but so far without any result. Johnson last set a deadline of October 15th for an agreement. The British Foreign Minister Dominic Raab had previously been more optimistic. According to him, a trade pact between the EU and the UK is in sight, despite all the differences, and despite what Boris Johnson said later today. "We are close," said Raab to the station Sky News. "There are only two contentious questions left. On the one hand, these are fishing, and on the other, the so-called level playing field, which is about common standards. Therefore, one is surprised and disappointed by the tough line of the EU and the demand that concessions should come only from the UK. Among other things, it is still controversial how many fish EU countries are allowed to catch in British waters. Brussels also wants to enforce a level playing field for British and European companies. Among other things, this would regulate how much the UK can subsidize domestic companies without putting European competitors at a disadvantage." Chancellor Angela Merkel called for compromises yesterday. "Everyone has their red lines," she said on Thursday evening after the first day of the EU summit in Brussels. "We have asked the UK to continue to be willing to compromise in terms of an agreement. This includes that we too have to make compromises." The heads of state and government of the EU 27 countries had agreed to negotiate a trade agreement for a few more weeks, but they also decided to prepare for no deal scenario, which they are doing for months and months anyway. So what is that, what Boris Johnson did there today? He left a lot of excuses in his statement why negotiations haven't stopped. Because the technical practicalities, as he said that, have still to be discussed. And so the negotiations continue no matter what he said today. And so that is now my personal opinion there, because there's almost no information out there when I'm making this video, because I wanted to give you these news fast. My personal opinion is that this is just another negotiation stunt he's pulling there. We will see in the next days or in the next weeks when it gets clearer. I'll keep you informed. On a day like this, even inside a video, you have different steps, because this part now I filmed a few minutes later than the rest of the video, because Angela Merkel just gave a press conference on the EU summit. Of course, she was asked about Boris Johnson's statement, and she gave answers to that. Short ones, but still she gave some. First of all, she emphasized once again that neither side wants a deal on any price. So there have to be compromises on both sides, as she said on Thursday. The EU is prepared for further negotiations, and she's not aware that the negotiations have been stopped, as I said before. She says she sees light and shadow in these negotiations, and that fits together with what Dominic Raab said, what I mentioned earlier. But she also emphasized both sides still have to prepare for no deal. But in no case in her press conference now, she said it's a fixed no deal now. The negotiations are over. So that's not the case unless the UK really walks away from the table. But that's not what Boris Johnson said. And if you now want to know something else about global or European politics, YouTube has chosen another of my videos right here in the end screen, right next to your chance to have a quick look on my new channel. It's about life hacks. I'll see you in my next video. Click and enjoy. Viel Spaß!